live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
We're beginning this morning with 3 quick stories you're waking up to on social. I'm not sure I'd try this snack, I'm not going to lie, but here we go. A new snack shop at a shop in Chicago. It's a pickle with a candy cane. I'm going to pass on that one. And Comic-Con is back. San Diego, welcome back visitors after 2 years of being canceled. And hello, it is cold outside. The Cleveland Browns tight end David Njoku getting amped up for the game yesterday in sub-zero temperatures. I don't think I would do this. Yeah, without a shirt on. That's a hard pass for me on that one. And now this morning, we want to give you a live look over the city of Dayton right now. It is another cold start to the morning, but not as cold as it was over the weekend. And for a look at your morning forecast this morning, let's toss it right over to meteorologist Nick Maruziak. Nick.
Good morning. And for the record, it was cold out, and I do not go shirtless when it's cold out. My neighbors appreciate that, trust me. 8 degrees right now in Bellefontaine, 8 in Troy as well. We've got 13 in Dayton, 12 in Wapakoneta. We are talking about temperatures yet again today well below average. And when you factor in a wind chill, it does feel like the single digits. Now, it's single digits above zero. I should note, I have to make that distinction after the weekend where a lot of it was wind chills well below zero with temperatures actually well below zero. Flurries and light snow possible today. We'll really dive into the details of this coming up, but the general theme is for today to be maybe a little bit active. I don't really expect too many hardships though. Temperatures low 20s today, tomorrow around the freezing mark, so much warmer weather is on the horizon. Thank gosh for that. As for this morning, it does look like it is pretty quiet on the roadways as well. As you'd expect coming off the Christmas holiday, we may see traffic pick up later today, so give yourself a little bit of extra time.
And now we want to give you a live look this morning from our weather vehicle where roads are clearer. Well, I should say main roads are clearer, but it is still very icy. You could see that there on the roadways this morning in those residential areas. You could see that shine. Yeah, that's ice and snow. Now, we are expecting a lot of people to hit the roads after the terrible storm, as we may even brace for more snow. However, make sure that you are being careful if you do have to head out this morning. Even walking in that is very dangerous because of those icy conditions. Well, AAA now estimates about 4.6 million Ohioans will be traveling between now and January 2nd. That is more than double the estimate for Thanksgiving. That now puts us close to the pre-pandemic record set back in 2019. AAA expects the week between Christmas and New Year's to be the second busiest travel weekend of the year for Ohioans and the third busiest nationally. And now air travel is expected to surpass pre-pandemic numbers as well if people can get flights. You're taking a look at the Dayton International Airport's flight schedule for today. There is a scramble to get people back in the air after the terrible weather upended holiday travel. More than 12,000 flights between Wednesday and Saturday were canceled. That's about 14% of the total schedule, and thousands more were even delayed. Now, many flights are booked solid as people are scrambling to reschedule. And we now know 4 people died after a 3-car crash on Saturday on I-75 in Shelby County. Now, that's according to the Ohio State Highway Patrol. A man driving a tractor trailer went off the left side of the road and hit a cable median barrier and then ended up in a ditch. Troopers say the tractor and trailer continued into the southbound lanes, hitting 2 more cars. 3 people died at the scene. 1 woman was flown by helicopter to Miami Valley Hospital, where she later died. I-75 South was closed entirely for nearly 7 hours while that crash was investigated. And we now know the names of some of the people killed in a nearly 50-car pileup on the Ohio Turnpike. This is video from that scene on Friday. Absolutely incredible. Julie Roth of Toledo and Bernard Bologniars of Napoleon were just 2 of the people who were killed that day. It happened on I-80 near milepost 106 in Sandusky County. Numerous people were hurt. That crash left several people stranded as well in the winter storm for hours and stopped traffic for most of the day Friday into Saturday. Mike Waldron was headed to the Minneapolis area when he came up on the pileup.
As we kind of got closer to the accident, we saw a entire 18-wheeler that looked virtually shredded from the kind of back all the way down. And then as we got closer, we saw the massive pileup, and we saw that one black SUV that was on top of everything else. It was scary. It was sad. I said a quick prayer as we drove by, just for all those people who were there and involved in that accident, because it was a very scary sight, and said a prayer for us that we can get to where we're going safely as well.
Now, Buffalo feeling the effects of some serious winter weather as well. They, oh my goodness, got nearly 4 feet of snow. We now know at least 30 people have died nationwide due to that winter storm. Communities across the country had power knocked out. More than 1.7 million people were without power. That's now down to just about 200,000. Buffalo's airport will be closed through tomorrow morning, and the governor says at least a dozen people have died across the state.
Could not respond to calls because it was so bad. For those of you who don't understand what it was like, think about looking just a few feet in front of you at a sheet of white for more than 24 hours in a row. That's what it was like outside in the worst conditions.
60% of the U.S. face some sort of winter weather advisory or warning, and severely low temperatures. 5:06 is our time right now. Don't forget, of course, your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen, and your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
When Republicans take control of the House in January, they're promising to look into the United States' COVID response and what we're learning 3 years in. I'm Kayla Gaskins in Washington.
And Texas migrants arrive in D.C. on Christmas Eve. Just ahead, the drop-off location and who sent them, and the response from the White House. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
On ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Good morning. Here's what we're looking at. A few scattered little snow flurries, snow showers now moving into the greater Richmond area. Those about to move into Darke County, probably as far south even as Butler County this morning. But in terms of amounts, I really don't expect this to be a whole lot. A lot of the heaviest snow is off to the south, and we sometimes see this in summer. In fact, it's a lot more of a pattern in summer, is where you do see the southern part of your area actually get a lot more of the moisture, and it gets trapped down there, and effectively it gets cut off from us and areas up to the north. This is a case where it may be happening in winter, where we're just not going to get a whole lot of moisture, and thus what ends up happening is basically we get maybe just a few flurries or snow showers during the morning hours. After that, it's generally cloudy for today. We are going to be looking at tomorrow. Generally cloudy skies, conceivable as we get into the evening. You get a few breaks. It's probably not until Wednesday that we really start to see those breaks move in. In terms of temperature today, low to mid 20s. As for tonight, down into the teens, and for tomorrow, it's only low 30s. Beyond tomorrow, though, I don't know what we did right, but we did something. I guess, Mother Nature also a day late with her packages. But we are going to get some warmer temperatures for late next week, although it'll be warm and wet with highs on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the 50s, with showers moving in. As for right now, roadways, of course, still snow covered outside, but at least at this point, we're not seeing the snow come down on our cameras. Meanwhile, on the maps, we're also okay for right now, but it is worth pointing out today that we are going to be looking at maybe a little bit of snow and, of course, the cold weather as well. So it's one of those that I look at and I go, well, could be worse, could be better. I mean 20s.
I feel like this is typical Ohio weather. We have a snowstorm, and then a week later, we're almost in the 60s. Makes total sense.
Yeah, exactly. It makes total sense if you just think it should make no sense.
I know, exactly.
Right? Like if you assume there's no plan and things don't make sense, you go, all right, makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. That's Ohio for you. I feel like it's not. I mean, it's totally typical.
Yeah, and it's also a very much winter pattern as well.
It certainly is. All right. Well, this morning we are looking at a live look right now from the U.S. Capitol, or I should say 3 buses loaded with migrants from Texas arrived at Vice President Kamala Harris's house on Christmas Eve. The surprise drop-off, over 130 people, follows actions taken by leaders in Texas, Florida, and Arizona since the spring, though Texas authorities did not immediately confirm their involvement. Border cities have seen a massive influx of migrants in recent weeks. The Supreme Court delayed lifting the Title 42 policy on Monday. Now, that policy allows officials to rapidly turn away undocumented immigrants. Now, a White House spokesperson called the drop-offs, quote, a cruel, dangerous, and shameful stunt. In this statement, adding these political games put lives in danger and don't solve anything. And now we want to give you a live look from the U.S. Capitol this morning, where many Republicans are now taking a hard look at our response to the pandemic. Dayton 24/7 Now's Kayla Gaskins has a preview of some of the policies in question.
As we approach 3 years since the start of the pandemic, we're getting a clearer view of the consequences of lockdowns.
There's a growing body of research showing that government lockdowns had severe costs.
Math scores dropping to levels not seen since the 70s. Scores for black students falling more than twice as much as white students. Childhood obesity soaring. The body mass index of children aged 2 to 19 doubling during the pandemic, according to the CDC. Drug overdose deaths increasing as much as 55% in some states. Teen suicides also rising. As data comes to light, some calling for pandemic amnesty because we didn't know. But critics argue we did know. A 2006 World Health Organization study concluded forced isolation and quarantine are ineffective and impractical. A 2019 study by Johns Hopkins and the WHO reaching similar conclusions.
So there was all sorts of evidence against this, but nevertheless, this was the policy course that was taken. It's going to take a lot of self-reflection and a lot of airing of the data at the time and what people were thinking to remedy this.
Republicans arguing a thorough look into the United States' pandemic response will help the country react to future emergencies better. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Right now, the FDA changing the way Plan B is packaged to clarify it is not an abortion pill. The over-the-counter drug is an emergency contraceptive. The FDA says it will not work if someone is already pregnant, so it doesn't affect an existing pregnancy. Now, the scrutiny comes as states move to block abortions, including pill options. Plan B manufacturers completed a scientific review showing the pill delays the release of an egg but doesn't prevent a fertilized egg from implanting. Our time right now, 5:16, a money movement for a winning ticket. The Mega Millions continues to go up in minutes, the new jackpot in the next drawing. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Auto Matters is sponsored by Chevrolet of Troy.
Today in the shop, we're going to talk about the numbers on motor oil. You'll see things, they say 5W20 or 10W30. What do they mean? Well, in short, they are viscosity levels, the thickness of the oil and the way it reacts inside your engine. It is important to put the right oil in your engine. So how do you know? Well, on some older cars, it won't show you what engine oil to use. However, on these newer vehicles, you can actually see it written right on the oil cap as to what oil to put in that engine. The easiest way to find out what oil goes inside of your engine is to simply take your vehicle over to one of our trusted car pros here in town.
It's the grand opening celebration at Chevrolet of Troy. To celebrate, we have over 100 new Chevrolet vehicles available at or below MSRP. Don't miss out on these great deals at Chevrolet of Troy's grand opening.
Live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
All right, time for today's dog of the day. I have a feeling a lot of dogs out there are going to look like Orloff between the Christmas holiday, between the snow early on. At least my dog got several naps in yesterday, just a ton of energy around the house, and you can imagine. Now, if you're letting your dog out, you notice the yellows. That's mainly not because of what's about to fall, but it's actually more or less because of what's on the ground. I know around my neighborhood, some of the neighbors really good about shoveling and also salting. Others, not so much, or maybe they have gone somewhere else. The point of the matter is there's still plenty of icy spots, and especially if you live on an area that hasn't been treated, those are going to be problematic as you cross the street. So again, keep your furry friends safe. We are looking at some light snow possible early on today, but in general, I would not expect it to be a major system. As for this morning, the roadways still snow covered as well, although the major highways should be in much better shape than they were Saturday or even yesterday. I think they've improved steadily over the last 72 hours. Still on the bottom left, you can see those exit ramps still snow covered, so give yourself a couple of extra minutes. Green, though, all across the board.
Today's number of the day may be a prescription for drug companies. 59% of voters believe that the campaign contributions made by large pharmaceutical companies drive up the prices of prescription drugs. The Scott Rasmussen National Survey found that this opinion was held by a majority of respondents from both political parties. 63% of Republicans and 64% of Democrats agree.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission and Target have announced a recall of more than 200,000 of the retailer's weighted children's blankets. 2 children reportedly suffocated after becoming trapped in the blankets. The products were sold nationwide and online from December 2018 to September 2022 for $40. Half of all Americans hide out in their bathroom when they want some much-needed peace and quiet, some new research suggests. The survey, which was conducted on one poll on behalf of Masonite, also suggests that the average respondent needs between 4 and 5 hours of private time per day to feel their best. 77% still need their private time, even when they're hosting friends or family in their house, and almost 81% said that it's important that they create quiet time or private spaces within their own home. Getting more sleep may be better than having extra money in the bank when it comes to increasing happiness, new research suggests. A survey of 2,000 adults examined the connection between happiness and sleep, revealing that 40% of those who are very happy with their lives are more likely to get excellent sleep. The research conducted by Natrol and one poll found that the average person experiences 10 sleepless nights per month. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Joy Doss, and here's to your health.
Well, closing out 2022 with a bang, a Mega Millions could be really nice right now. Well, the next drawing is set for tomorrow night. The jackpot rolled over yet again after no one came up a winner for the game's top prize in Friday night's drawing. It's now an estimated $565 million that would go to the holder of a winning ticket. That would represent the 6th largest prize in Mega Millions history. The jackpot has grown ever since the last grand prize was split between 2 winning tickets on October 14th. Now, your odds to win the whole thing remain a little rough. Yeah, you got about 1 in more than 302 million chance. So, you gonna get a ticket, and did you get one from Santa?
No, and no.
No, and no.
Yeah, so
same.
you know, Christmas, like you have the one aunt that gives you like the scratch offs. I used to get those like all the time, and I used to love just in there. Like you get your quarter, and be like, I don't think I ever won on Christmas Day though. Like maybe $1 or $2.
Yeah, isn't that like annoying? We actually got my in-laws some scratch offs. They won like in total like $45.
Well, that's not bad. I mean,
No.
but I'm talking about when you win like $2 between 5 of them, and you're like, oh, this Christmas was ruined.
Well, did you go back and buy more? Because they should have went back and bought more,
No.
and then maybe you would have won off one of those.
No, you know, see, that's where you're like, you just start losing more and more money. Because the next one you win 38, and you're like, all right, well, I got to spend 38.
Yeah,
then the next thing
exactly.
you know, you're down to like $2, and you're like, all right, I get a half a coffee. Yay.
That's what happens at a casino. I'm
True.
just saying.
Yeah, at least in my experience, that's how it works.
Amen to that. All right, 5:25 is our time. Right now, new details to the discovery of Kassan Thomas. Just ahead, Richard Essex talks with the heroes and the amazing story on how they found the missing infant from Columbus. But first, here's Chief Meteorologist and half of Nick's arm.
Good morning. For today's TikTok of the day, we learn about ice spikes. Have you ever heard of ice spikes? Not the ones on the bottom of your shoes in winter, but these. They form when water starts to freeze, but it freezes unevenly. They look like this or this. You might see them outside. It's when water freezes, first along the edges. When water freezes, it expands, which pushes any still unfrozen water up to the surface near the middle. As the sides freeze up solid, the unfrozen water is forced upwards, expanding into a tower or spike that eventually freezes up on its own too. So it doesn't happen when it's too cold outside. Otherwise, it would freeze uniformly, actually pretty quickly. Look at this one from my backyard. Pretty cool.
In today's Tech Bites, a reported spike in COVID cases across China could impact Apple's bottom line. China is home to the world's largest iPhone factory, and the company may be facing supply chain issues after the country's zero COVID policy ended and more Chinese hospitals are now overwhelmed. A quick fix may be coming soon for an issue with the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Users have been complaining about flashing horizontal lines on the display periodically occurring when they wake up their phone. Apple reportedly said it's a software issue and is now planning to release an update. And Google Assistant has beat out Siri, Alexa, and Bixby in a comparison of smartphone voice assistants. In a test of basic abilities, Google held the top spot due to accuracy and overall functionality, though Bixby and Siri were close. Alexa was judged as being behind those options. So is Google really the best? Well, if you ask Apple users, they'll tell you no, Siri, Bob. Those are your Tech Bites.
Gillette presents the Gillette Labs with Exfoliating Bar, a razor designed to take the hassle out of your routine with effortless shaving and one efficient stroke. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris that gets in the way of the blades, so nothing gets between you and a quick and easy shave. All with a lifetime warranty. Gillette, the best a man can get.
Had enough? No, arthritis. Here, Aspirin arthritis. Huh. Full prescription strength. Reduces inflammation. Thank the gods. Don't thank them too soon.
Kick pain in the Aspirin.
Wish your car's air freshener didn't start so strong and then fade too soon? Try Febreze car vent clips. Unlike other fresheners, Febreze releases a consistent amount of scent day after day for 40 days. Won't overwhelm, won't fade away. Febreze car. Love it or get your money back.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
A quick look this morning at 3 stories you're seeing on social as you're sleeping. South Korea shot down several drones flying out of North Korea. South Korean leaders say those drones invaded their airspace. Keep it here, guys. 3 women awarded the Nobel Prize for their work in chemistry. Here's a photo of those 3 geniuses. And the FCC now proposing a record $300 million fine for despised car warranty robocalls. Can I get some of that cash, please? They only call me about 5 times a day. All right, we want to give you a live look this morning out on our area roadways. This is a live look from our weather vehicle at this hour. This is a residential area, which is where we asked our photographer, Ryan Segda, I should say. We just call him Segda in the newsroom, to kind of hang out in this area because this is where you're going to be seeing a lot of the issues. The highways, I drove in on 675 South this morning. Highways looking really good, but it was these back streets that kind of had me a little worried. So we want to send it right over to meteorologist Nick Maruziak. And Nick, are the temperatures going to warm up at any point today where this stuff is going to actually melt?
You know, it's always tough to say because a couple things going on. If you got sunshine, yesterday we did some melting. As for the other days, we didn't get a whole lot of sun and didn't get a whole lot of melting. In addition, we are going to get some flurries of light snow moving in. Here we are, Richmond, moving in towards Eaton, Oxford, Greenville, so Darke County, up towards Salina. It does look like maybe a couple of flurries up in Mercer County, up towards Glaze County. Those will probably slip towards Miami and Montgomery counties here in the not too distant future. Let's take a wider view look at it. Not an overly impressive system. A lot of the moisture trapped off in towards Kentucky and the southern part of Indiana, probably scooting to our south. But either way, I still think that flurries, light snow is possible later. So to go back to your question, may add just a little bit more snow, but I don't think we'll melt a whole lot. So what you see on the roadways is what you get this morning, and Elise mentioned it. The highways are looking good. There's still going to be some spots, though, especially on and off ramps that may have some icy spots or some slick spots. So that's where my concern would be this morning if you're planning long distance travel.
We're learning more this morning about the amazing discovery of 5-month-old Kason Thomas, found just last week in Indianapolis. He had been sitting alone in a car for days before 2 Indiana officers saved the day. Richard Essex has their story.
The baby had been sitting in the back seat of a car that was parked in this spot for almost 3 days. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people driving by.
I was surprised at how well he responded, considering the ordeal that he had been through.
IMPD officers Richard L. and Sean Anderson spent all day Thursday looking for a stolen black 2010 Honda Accord that was driven by Nyla Jackson. Police believe that 5-month-old Kason Thomas was in the back seat of that car. Investigators say that Jackson stole the car in Columbus, Ohio on Monday when the owner left the car running and went inside to a pizza place with her 5-month-old twin boys in the back seat. Late Thursday afternoon, after spending all day looking for that car, officers L. and Anderson stopped to eat at a shopping plaza near 10th and University Boulevard.
And kind of brainstorm and just talk about the events of the day and where is baby Kason? Where is he? You know, that this is what's in our head. And as a parent myself, it would drive me crazy not knowing where my child is at, if they're safe, if they're okay, if they're alive. So, you know, as parents, we understand that. And it was time for us to kind of decompress because we were disappointed that we could not find him. And then God opened up the heavens to us and almost took him and put him right in our hands.
The car they had been looking for was sitting right in front of Papa John's Pizza, right across the parking lot from where they had stopped to eat.
Basically, it happened. Totally unexpected. It happened, and we located him.
Jason Van Hort works for Papa John's and had noticed the car sitting in front of the store for a couple of days. He told me he parked his own car next to it, but he says abandoned cars are fairly common in the area, and he didn't think twice about it. But then the cops showed up and surrounded the car.
Fortunately, found a baby in the car that was just kind of sitting there for a few days, so thank God, thank God she was okay.
He says that Jackson had come into the store and asked about a job.
She came in Tuesday morning, probably around 8 o'clock, and was just asking about bus passes and asking if we were hiring, and just really didn't think too much about it. I was here for about 20 minutes and left, and just walked right past the car and didn't see her again.
Police arrested Jackson Thursday afternoon, but she didn't offer much information on the boy's location. Police found the little boy just as the weather was starting to get nasty. He had been alone for more than 2 days with nothing to eat or drink.
Having 23 years in law enforcement, these are the moments that I live for, and I'm sure other officers live for as well. This is my why. This is why I get out of bed every morning and put this uniform on.
Jackson is expected to face charges in Ohio and federal charges for taking the 5-month-old boy across state lines.
That was Richard Essex reporting. Now, Kason's twin brother was previously found unharmed at Dayton International Airport. And we wanted to give you a look at this tweet this morning. A Cincinnati news photographer currently missing. This is Deontay Brown. He works at WLWT. Now, he disappeared in a white unmarked Ford Escape, which is one of their news vehicles, on Christmas Eve. It happened just after 7 o'clock that night. If you know anything, you're urged to call police.
All three happened in the middle of the night on Christmas Day, causing power outages. Nothing was stolen from either or any of those facilities, so there's a good possibility they are related.
More than 14,000 people left in the dark in Washington state on Christmas after police say burglars vandalized 3 power stations belonging to the Tacoma Public Utilities. Investigators say burglars broke through a fenced-in area on Sunday morning and damaged equipment, triggering the outages. Burglars broke into 2 other substations as well. No one is in custody this morning, and it's unclear if all 3 of those break-ins are related. Well, China's foreign minister is signaling a growing cooperation with Russia, this after a series of joint naval drills between the countries. Foreign Minister Wang Yi spoke yesterday about deepening that mutual trust. He maintains China is impartial when it comes to the Ukraine crisis, but accused the U.S. of, quote, unilateral bullying, seeing China as a competitor rather than a partner. He says China wants to get relations back on course. 5:38 is our time right now. Don't forget, of course, your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen and your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials. Honoring a loved one and saving a life. In minutes, Barbara Morse looks at some special siblings giving blood during an important time. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
You know, there are some times in weather where you get to be the bearer of good news. That is today. Now, we are going to deal with some snow showers today, so it's not like it's 100% good news, but check out the temperature pattern into the 50s. Now, we will start out tomorrow with temperatures in the 30s, and probably tomorrow morning is going to be another cool morning. But beyond that, temperatures do rise to around, if not above average, as soon as Wednesday. Then beginning on Thursday, we actually get temperatures around 50 degrees. Friday and Saturday will be in the 50s, but it's worth pointing out both of those days do feature the chances of rain. So by the same time, I get to be bearer of good news. I'm also going to be the bearer of, well, not so great news, which is even when it's going to be warm, it's probably going to be quite wet. A lot of us have been hoping for rain based on the fact that we have been so dry. So it's one of those, you take the good with the bad. In this case, it's warm and wet. Meanwhile, on the roads, it has been a morning where we haven't been too bad outside. So that's good news out there. We'll continue to see roads get a little bit better as those temperatures do warm up.
Taking a look this morning at givingblood.org. Now, we continue to face critical shortages of blood nationally, with those numbers dipping even lower around the holidays. Now, one special family, I should say, is doing their part to honor their dad. Medical reporter Barbara Morse shares their story.
He is the definition of a dad.
Jillian Cartwright is talking about her dad, Gary. Best dad, she'll tell you. Big blood donor.
I remember one of the first times I was able to donate, we went to the blood bus.
If he could do it, we can do it. He has donated 166 times.
Did the math. You can donate every 8 weeks. It'll take me 25 and a half years.
That's a lot of lives saved.
498, so he saved about 500 lives.
Sadly, at 61, Gary was diagnosed with cancer.
We found out about it May of this year.
2 months later, on July 22nd, he lost that battle.
We thought we had more time with him.
One thing lives on through his children, his passion for helping others. All of them continue to honor their dad by donating.
And that's what he would want us to do.
Now you're going to continue his legacy.
Yeah, continuing his legacy by continuing to donate ourselves and then encouraging our other friends and family to donate as well.
Their mom sums it up this way.
There's so many things you can do out there, but this saves lives. And for someone to say, I saved some lives today, that means the world.
Nationwide, blood supplies aren't where they were pre-pandemic. The Cartwrights are hoping their story compels you to give this precious gift of life. I'm medical reporter Barbara Morse.
Our time right now, 5:44. We want to give you a live look right now from the Dayton 24/7 Now weather vehicle. We are preparing for a busy travel day. Just ahead, the very latest on your morning commute. And heads up, if you get paid via Venmo, the new rules coming out soon for filing your taxes and why it was pushed back. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Well, anyone getting paid for their work through apps like Venmo or Etsy just got a reprieve from the IRS. They announced last week they would delay the implementation of a rule change that would have resulted in a virtual paper chase of tax forms going out next month to anyone using those apps for their business transactions. Now, the IRS has postponed that by a year. The move follows concerns from the tax preparation community and some lawmakers. That rule would have required third-party payment platforms to issue a 1099-K for payments that exceeded $600 over the course of the year. Well, Facebook's parent company Meta is ending a lengthy legal drama with a $725 million settlement. The class action lawsuit against Meta started about 4 years ago after it announced third parties, including Cambridge Analytica, had access to private user information. The social media giant was also accused of misleading users about its privacy policies. Now, the individuals involved in negotiations say it's the largest class action recovery involving data privacy. Up to 280 million people could be eligible for payments. Meta did not admit any wrongdoing and agreeing to settle the case.
Good morning. We're still tracking the potential for some flurries and or light snow moving into the area, Darke County and towards Butler County in the south. Those have basically petered out. Now it seems more like towards the Sydney area, Bellefontaine area could see a couple of light snow showers, as well as if you're traveling out to the west near Muncie. Back out to the west, there's not a whole lot to speak of in terms of big time snow showers. So this is one of the reasons why I think our impacts will be mainly relegated to, let's say, flurries, maybe a spot or two picks up a coating of snow. The heaviest snow is going to remain off to the south and probably be more of a Kentucky problem. So if you're traveling that way, that could be more problematic. In the meantime, today, temperatures should be warmer than they have been. I'm thinking low to mid 20s. Tomorrow we'll start out upper teens and 20s, get to around the freezing mark. It is going to be a much warmer day overall, although we will start to see some more sunshine, perhaps as soon as Wednesday morning. I think Wednesday itself will certainly bring out the sunshine. So today, a day where we wake up to a couple of snow showers. Tomorrow is warmer despite it being overcast. Probably get some melting done tomorrow, but really Wednesday seems to be the day where we will get that melting really going in earnest as we get that sunshine popping out. That's for the roads this morning. Of course, we're still tracking the potential for some slick spots, especially as you get towards the secondary roads. Right for now, the primary roads seem to be doing okay, so we've got that going for us. Just a reminder, give yourself a few extra minutes outside because we are still dealing with those icy spots, especially on those intersections of side roads.
Our time right now is 5:49. The major storm hitting most of the country, dumping several feet of snow in Buffalo. Coming up, how this caused one family's unforgettable Christmas. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
In this morning's GMA First Look, we've got all the answers if you're considering returning a gift this year. The National Retail Federation reporting that returns nearly doubled during the pandemic. $218 billion worth of online purchases were sent back, and the return rate is estimated to stay in that elevated range for 2022. And now retailers are responding.
So we're seeing this year that return policies have gotten a little bit less generous than we've seen in years past.
Policies like shortening the return window, charging restocking fees, or telling shoppers they'll have to pay for shipping.
So when you're thinking about returning something, it's really important to keep your timeline in mind. Try to get it done within January if possible.
And coming up at 7 a.m., what you need to know to avoid all those headaches with your holiday gift returns. With your GMA First Look, I'm Becky Worley, ABC News, Oakland, California.
Trying to control my asthma felt anything but normal. Enough was enough. I talked to an asthma specialist and found out my severe asthma is driven by eosinophils, a type of asthma Nucala can help control. Now, fewer asthma attacks and less oral steroids. That's my new normal with Nucala. Nucala is a once-monthly add-on injection for severe eosinophilic asthma. Nucala is not for sudden breathing problems. Allergic reactions can occur. Get help right away for swelling of face, mouth, tongue, or trouble breathing. Infections that can cause shingles have occurred. Don't stop steroids unless told by your doctor. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection. May cause headache, injection site reactions, back pain, and fatigue. Talk to your asthma specialist to see if once-monthly Nucala may be right for you. And learn about savings at nucala.com.
There's more to your life than asthma. Find your new normal.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Welcome to the Watson's Weather Patio, where this morning, I'm not sure who did it, but they did a pretty good job of giving you a place to stand without actually standing in the snow. Perhaps it's a little different story if you're getting ready for your morning commute, if you're one of those that have work this morning, or perhaps maybe you're one of those that have to worry about going outside and taking the dog on a walk, or perhaps moving presents from the house to the car, or maybe going to the store and getting a deal. Here's what it looks like right now. Just looking over the wind chills, they are in the single digits this morning. So it's one of those that, yes, if you're going to be outside for 30 seconds, I mean, you could probably get away with being barehanded. This morning, I would have rather had the gloves, but left those inside by mistake. I will say this, it is pretty chilly outside. Today we'll begin a string of warmer overall days. Really, we've been trending warmer. It's still going to be quite cold outside, though, with highs only in the 20s. I can promise you this, starting tomorrow, we'll actually get into the 30s, and then from there, 40s and 50s are possible. So it's going to be a much warmer week ahead.
Well, scientists may have found a clue as to why 3 dolphins were stranded along the Scottish coast. Their research indicates their brain showed signs of Alzheimer's disease. The study was published in December's European Journal of Neuroscience. Scientists found the 3 aged dolphins showed brain changes or lesions like the ones associated with Alzheimer's disease in humans. Alzheimer's had been thought to only develop in humans, but this study provides some greater insight into neurological disease in other species. Well, major winter storms not just impacting here, the Midwest and the East Coast, but check out this video from the Gulf. This is footage taken from Dolphin Island, Alabama, where you can see icicles, sorry, that's my sniffling. There we go, icicles off of a beach deck. Forecasters say about 60% of the U.S. population was exposed to some sort of winter weather advisory or warning over the weekend. That is incredible. And Buffalo is, of course, used to winter weather, but the storm on Friday was far from normal. One lucky family spent the weekend with firefighters, and it's a Christmas they will never forget. Check it out. Fighting blizzard conditions, a family of 6 lost power in their home, so they decided to head to a motel for the night. However, they got stranded on dangerous roads. Members of the Buffalo Airport firefighters came to the rescue, of course. A family with kids ranging from 8 to 9 months spent Christmas Eve and Christmas Day at the firehouse. Santa still managed to find the family even though they weren't at home. The firefighters quickly improvised and wrapped up some presents for the family to enjoy. Now that is the sweetest thing in the entire world.
Yeah, I'm just curious what those presents were. Were they like, hi kids,
here's a fire axe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Here's size 12 fire boots.
Exactly. Here's a fireman hat. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it was. How sweet is that? I'm sure at the firehouse they collect toys and stuff over time, so they may have had some
like
things,
we kid around, but yeah, it's the holiday season, so I know there was plenty of families that were stuck airports and other things. And I mean, just reading the stories of, hey, you know what? Come on over my house. We'll get food or this or
Absolutely.
that. And just being a good neighbor to people that you don't even know is just really what this season's all about.
It truly is. It's amazing. And, you know, I was happy I didn't have to leave my house till this morning when I came in. So
Yeah, exactly. And I was just glad I got home and got to sleep.
I understand that one. I understand that too. Well, we got a lot more coming up for you on ABC 22 in the morning, beginning at 6. We want to show you a live look this morning from our Dayton 24/7 Now Wow weather vehicle. Look at that. Those side streets still covered in ice and snow. We'll have another live look coming up for you in just a moment. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
Here's 3 quick stories you're seeing right now. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to try this little snacky snack, but yeah, I'll tell you all about it. It's a pickle and a candy cane. Hard pass for me, I think. Well, Comic-Con is back. San Diego, welcome back visitors after 2 years of being canceled, and I'm sure it was definitely a good show. And hello, it is cold outside. You're from Cleveland, you should know this. The Cleveland Browns tight end David Njoku, getting amped up for the game on Saturday in sub-zero temperatures without a shirt on. Pass. That is a hard pass for me. All right, well, we want to give you a live look this morning over the city of Dayton, where right now it is another frigid morning, but not as cold, thank goodness, as we were over the weekend. And we want to send it right over to meteorologist Nick Maruziak because I'm kind of hoping, fingers crossed, things start to warm up for us.
Oh, I got good news, but I'd just like to point out, she passed on the candy cane and pickle. She passed on the shirtless in Sub-Zero, and then she passed it over to me here at the weather wall. Like, she's doing a lot of passing. Eventually, you just got to run with the ball. All right, we're looking at temperatures in the teens. Bell Fountain at 9 degrees is the one place where we are in the single digits. Speaking of single digits, see the wind chills, a lot of goose eggs as you move to the east. So Springfield at 0, Clark County at 0. I mean, we're talking about temperatures that are feeling like they are basically right around the 0 degree mark. It's not particularly that pleasant out. Today will be better than yesterday, though. Yesterday we hit, I think, a whopping 14 degrees, somewhere around there. Today we're aiming for 23 degrees, so about 10 degrees warmer. We'll still have the risk of flurries and light snow in the morning hours, but I just don't see a whole lot in accumulation. As for the roadways this morning, we have seen traffic moving pretty steadily. It's worth pointing out, though, those off ramps and those exit ramps are going to still have some slick spots. Give yourself a little bit of extra time and space on those.
And now we want to give you a live look this morning from our Dayton 24/7 Now weather vehicle. We're taking a look at those residential streets, which you can see right now are still covered in ice and snow. That also means you need to slow down, not only when you're driving, but when you're walking. That's going to be the most important thing. If you have to head out this morning, make sure you are walking very slow, and we could be bracing for more snow, as Nick mentioned moments ago. Well, AAA this morning estimating about 4.6 million Ohioans will be traveling between now and January 2nd. That is more than double the estimate for Thanksgiving. That also puts us close to the pre-pandemic record set back in 2019. Now, AAA expects the week between Christmas and New Year's to be the second busiest travel weekend of the year for Ohioans and the third busiest nationally. Air travel, of course, is expected to surpass pre-pandemic numbers if people can actually get flights. You're taking a live look at the Dayton International Airport's flight schedule for today. A scramble, of course, to get people back in the air after terrible weather upended holiday travel. And more than 12,000 flights between Wednesday and Saturday were canceled. That's about 14% of the total schedule. Thousands more were delayed. Now, many flights are booked solid as people, of course, are rescheduling. And we now know this morning 4 people are now dead after a 3-vehicle crash on Saturday on I-75 in Shelby County. That's according to the Ohio State Highway Patrol. A man driving a tractor trailer went off the side of the road, hitting a cable median barrier and a ditch. Troopers say the tractor trailer then continued into the southbound lanes, hitting 2 more cars. 3 people died at the scene. 1 woman was flown by helicopter to Miami Valley Hospital, where she later died. I-75 was shut down for nearly 7 hours while that crash was investigated. And another major crash this morning. We now know the names of the people killed in a nearly 50-car pileup on the Ohio Turnpike. This is a look at video from that scene on Friday. Julie Roth of Toledo and Bernard Bloniars of Napoleon were just 2 of the people who were killed. And it happened on I-80 near milepost 106 in Sandusky County. Numerous people were hurt. That crash left people stranded in the storm for hours and stopped traffic for most of the day Friday into Saturday. Mike Waldron was headed to the Minneapolis area when he came upon that pileup.
As we kind of got closer to the accident, we saw a entire 18-wheeler that looked virtually shredded from the kind of back all the way down. And then as we got closer, we saw the massive pileup, and we saw that one black SUV that was on top of everything else. It was scary. It was sad. I said a quick prayer as we drove by, just for all those people who were there and involved in that accident, because it was a very scary sight, and said a prayer for us that we can get to where we're going safely as well.
Now, Buffalo also feeling the effects of some serious winter weather. They got nearly 4 feet of snow. We now know at least 30 people have died nationwide due to the storm. Communities across the country had power knocked out. More than 1.7 million people here without power. That's now under 200,000. Buffalo's airport will be closed through tomorrow morning. The governor says at least a dozen people have died across the state.
Could not respond to calls because it was so bad. For those of you who don't understand what it was like, think about looking just a few feet in front of you at a sheet of white for more than 24 hours in a row. That's what it was like outside in the worst conditions.
60% of the U.S. face some sort of winter weather advisory or warning and severely low temperatures. Our time right now is 6:06. Don't forget, of course, your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen and your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials. Texas migrants arrive in D.C. on Christmas Eve. Just ahead, the drop-off location and who sent them and the response from the White House. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Good morning. Here's what it looks like from the Kettering Health Network. We are looking at, I would say, a quiet start here in Dayton, but it's worth pointing out we still have some showers outside, mainly in the form of, I would say, flurries or very light snow. These are now moving through Muncie, just about to enter the Richmond area. Greenville, Eaton, you're next. Oxford as well. Could see an area or two of, the lightest snow possible. Looking out to the west, there's not much behind this, so this seems like the only wave that'll move through. Perhaps we could get just a little bit of a coating, but in terms of actual measurable snow, I think that's going to be well to our south. So today, one of those days where some snow is possible early on, mainly just flakes in the air, but we could be looking at just a few spots with that sticking around a little bit longer. Meanwhile, the snow is stuck around a lot longer on the roads, but as you'd expect, with temperatures still in the teens this morning, we haven't seen too much melting except where the roads have been treated. I-75 and 35. Looking like some snow still on that shoulder, but I think the roads have improved steadily, and we haven't seen any major issues this morning.
This morning, we're taking a look at video of 3 buses loaded with migrants from Texas arriving at Vice President Kamala Harris's house on Christmas Eve. Now, the surprise drop-off of over 130 people follows actions taken by leaders in Texas, Florida, and Arizona since the spring, though Texas authorities did not immediately confirm their involvement. Border cities have seen a massive influx of migrants in recent weeks. Now, the Supreme Court delayed lifting the Title 42 policy on Monday. That policy allows officials to rapidly turn away undocumented migrants. And a White House spokesperson actually called the drop-offs, quote, a cruel, dangerous, and shameful stunt. In this statement, adding these political games put lives in danger and don't actually solve anything. This morning, the FDA changing the way Plan B is packaged to clarify it is not an abortion pill. The over-the-counter drug is an emergency contraceptive. The FDA says it will not work if someone is already pregnant, so it doesn't affect an existing pregnancy. Now, the scrutiny comes as the states move to block abortions, including pill options. Plan B manufacturers completed a scientific review showing the pill delays the release of an egg, but doesn't prevent a fertilized egg from implanting. 6:12 is our time right now. We are following the Dayton 24/7 Now weather vehicle this morning, preparing you for a busy travel day. Just ahead, we've got the latest on your morning commute.
From the clothes and makeup we wear to the roads we drive on, there are new warnings about what else we'll be without if there's a shortage of oil. I'm Christine Frizzell with a look at the surprising details.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
This year brought heightened debates on the real impact oil can have on our everyday lives, but largely missing from the conversation, dominated by gas prices and climate change, is those other uses of oil. Dayton 24/7 Now's national correspondent Christine Frizzell brings us a closer look.
More than 90% of America's roads are paved with asphalt, according to the Federal Highway Administration, a product most people don't realize comes from the bottom of the barrel of oil.
No more drilling. There is no more drilling.
How do we make sure that we're putting an end to toxic fracking, to deep water drilling?
With calls to end oil drilling, there are questions about how, for example, the bipartisan infrastructure law will be able to meet its goals of building and repairing new roads and bridges if the future is one with less and less oil.
Where will we get the stuff to pave our roads? Because only 6% of roads are paved with concrete or something besides asphalt. And so if we're going to get serious about this, then let's get serious about this.
Jacob Borden from Trine University wrote the op-ed, "You Can't Build Roads Without Oil," barrels of which use about 70% to make fuel. The other 30%, he says, are used for everything from makeup and shampoo to plastic wire coverings for electrical work.
Just the 30% that is unburned is the equivalent of 2,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools every day.
That reality featured in this TV commercial.
Life would be very different because oil and gas are part of just about everything you touch. From the stuff in your hair to the stuff you wear. And so much more.
Still, scientists are largely in agreement that continued reliance on oil, especially from adversarial countries like Russia, is not good for our country and could have devastating effects on the planet.
It's one reason why California this year passed a law that by 2035, 100% of new cars sold must be zero-emission vehicles. With other states expected to follow, there's new warning. The time is now to talk about the more widespread impact of trimming oil and what else it may leave us without. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Good morning. We do have temperatures right now in the teens. Even Bellefontaine got up to 10. Yay, 10 degrees. It is that kind of a weekend, was it not? I mean, I was outside yesterday, and I think I lasted 5 minutes when I did my Facebook Live. I got back in and said, no, we're done with that. And that was about the only time I got out yesterday. And really, truly, the weekend as a whole, I think I was outside maybe for a couple minutes just running to a store real quick. Well, low to mid-20s for today. Just a few snow showers. I really don't expect much in the way of accumulation, but a spot or two could just add maybe that much of snow onto the ground. Of course, we'll also somewhat polish some of the ice out there. I know that there are still some slick spots. Those side roads, the neighborhood roads are going to be the biggest concern, and those are likely to still stay frozen even into overnight tonight. I think it'll stay generally cloudy, and it's still going to be bitter cold for tomorrow morning, although again, we're getting better and better as we get later into this forecast. 32 for tomorrow, and we're going to call it generally mostly cloudy. Could get a couple of peaks of sunshine maybe as we close out the day, although that's kind of the optimist. I think a lot of the day will be overcast. Wednesday and Thursday, more sunshine, and take a look at temperatures, 40s and 50s. Now, we'll be muddy on Wednesday, but I mean, Thursday looking like the pick day because we do expect rain. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, well, not a true washout. I do expect there to be some wet weather outside. Meanwhile, roadways this morning, not too bad. I don't want to say that they're great, though. We still have those spots where there's snow on the shoulders and also on the exit and off ramps. So those are going to be the more problem areas, but so far no major issues on any of the major roads.
Journal headlines. A new home development coming to Washington Township. There's going to be 22 homes dubbed Paragon Farms and will be close to the Centerville City School District and include floor plans between 1,882 square feet to 3,800 square feet. Each site will be around a half an acre with wooded views. Units are already up for pre-sales starting at $440,000 all the way up to $550,000. To read more about this story and others like it, head on over to Dayton247now.com, click on the news tab, and then select Dayton Business Journal. Well, closing out 2022 with a big old bang, a Mega Millions win. Man, that would awfully be nice, wouldn't it? The next drawing is set for tomorrow night. The jackpot is rolled over again after no one came up a winner for the game's top prize on Friday night's drawing. It's now an estimated $565 million that would go to the holder of a winning ticket. That would represent the 6th largest prize in the Mega Millions history. The jackpot has grown ever since the last grand prize was split between 2 winning tickets on October 14th. Now, your odds to win the whole thing, the whole shebang, remain a little rough. Yeah, about 1 in 302 million. Our time right now is 6:21. Digital producer Max, ready for a new week. Just ahead, your Facebook poll question. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Time for my favorite segment. It is the dog of the day. And Olaf's got the right idea here. Olaf sent in by Rebecca. Olaf generally snoozing on the job here. Frankly, my dog did a lot of this on the couch as well. In fact, I left home this morning at about 3, and last thing I saw of her was head on the side rest looking at me leaving the door next to my dad. We are looking at conditions that may not be ideal for walking the dog, but if you have a dog and you need to get outside, you certainly could do it. I'm going yellow just because the combination of the icy sidewalks, still the snow on the ground, plus, of course, any of the salt left on the ground, that could end up being not great for a dog's paws. So just keep in mind, keep a lookout for that. Otherwise, temperatures low 20s. Could see a couple of flakes early on today, but I really don't expect a whole lot of heavy-duty weather today. If we see another coating, that would be a lot. Meanwhile, the roads this morning, it's getting better slowly. Obviously, the crews have been out at work salting and plowing pretty much across the area, but Again, this is one of those time periods where we are going to still have some issues. So just keep that in mind on those side roads. Those are going to be the big problems this morning.
Well, our digital producer, Max, standing by with our favorite shirt, the bacon and eggs, which I could really go for this morning. I'm not going to lie, right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Crispy or like not crispy bacon?
Oh, crispy. And like sunny side up, or are you like?
Oh no, over easy.
Over easy.
If it's sunny side up, I'll eat the egg whites and then just swallow the yolks whole.
Oh, I can't do the snot. Anywho, moving on.
Yeah.
What are we talking about this morning?
So, we've made it through Christmas. We've made it through the holidays. So
holiday, we have another one coming.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
and
Hanukkah
some of us
was last
still
night.
have,
No,
parents.
New Year's.
Holidays. New Year.
Oh, you forgot about New Year's?
Yeah, I'm about to say, and it's not over yet. Some of us still have,
in-laws
and family over.
That's
some
true,
of us,
too.
Some of us have to get through the backside.
Some are still being tortured. No.
We won't say who.
So I just wanted to know, how was your guys' weekend?
It was great.
Yeah.
I had a wonderful holiday. I was off all last week. Got to spend it with my family and the boys. The kids woke up yesterday morning. Roman is starting to realize what Christmas is, so he was super excited. And then, of course, my little one, he'll be 1 on Friday, which I can't believe. And yeah, he just followed his big brother around and just wanted to play. So, how was yours?
I was busy.
Busy.
Friday, of course, storm
Snow.
coverage. Yeah, and then Saturday, I took like a 2-hour nap. And I spent a lot of yesterday watching football and basketball. I was really lame, but it was a good time with my parents.
Yeah,
What
how
about
was
you?
yours?
I think it was perfect. We just watched Christmas movies. We ate Chinese food. It was fantastic.
Chinese food for the
Chinese
win!
food,
I
yeah.
literally said that I think we're going to do Chinese food every Christmas from now on.
It's fun.
It's
just fun.
amazing. I'm telling you.
I did the Christmas ham. Look, all right.
I don't listen. My thing is, I would rather sit with my family and relax and not have to worry about cooking. And I get to hang out with the boys and eat Chinese food.
Yeah, see, I'm just the type that's like, let me into the kitchen, someone else get the dishes, and we'll call it good.
We'll call it even.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, 6:27 is. Oh, okay. Hi. 6:27 is our time right now. We want to give you another live look this morning from our Dayton 24/7 Now weather vehicle. Those side streets are looking pretty sketch this morning. Yeah, it's still covered in ice and snow. Be careful if you're heading out. And new details in the discovery of Kason Thomas. Just ahead, Richard Essex talks with the heroes and the amazing story on how they found the missing infant. But first, here's Genevieve Gorder with America's Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Knocking.
You guys, I have a product that solves a pet peeve so many of us have when we jump in our car. The cup holder that isn't big enough to hold your cup, your water bottle, your coffee. You know exactly what I'm talking about. This is the solution. This is the Cup Captain from Sharper Image. It's a 2-in-1 cup holder that rotates 360 degrees and doubles your storage space. You just twist to fit any size cup holder right here, and it locks it in place so nothing will tip. Now, here's my favorite part. You all have this water bottle that doesn't fit in the cup holder, and it rolls around on the ground, on your lap. It's annoying. This will adjust to fit large or small. So gone are the days of your water bottle falling on the floor and clanking around. This expands and contracts to fit any size cup, just right. And the great news is that it's not just for drinks. The Cup Captain is perfect for all kinds of things. It holds food containers, tablets right here, even your wallet. We all have these organizational systems for our desks, our nightstands, our kitchens, our closets. Why wouldn't we have that same approach to an area we spend so much time in? Our cars. It's perfect for kids in the back holding their snacks and their tablets. And we're offering 25% off today, you guys. And it's a 2-pack. To take advantage of this deal and save money, go to asadeals.com.
live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Let's take a look at 3 stories you're seeing on social this morning. South Korea shot down several drones flying out of North Korea while you were sleeping. South Korean leaders say those drones invaded their airspace. And 3 women being awarded the Nobel Prize for their work in chemistry. Here's a photo of those 3 geniuses. The FCC now proposing a record $300 million fine for those despised car warranty robocalls. I wonder if we're going to get in on that deal at all. Well, we want to give you a live look at our area roadways this morning as we are getting ready for another travel day this morning. Now, this is, of course, those residential streets which are going to be, you can see here, covered in ice and snow still at this hour. Now, the highway's looking pretty good this morning, but it's these residential streets you're going to want to really make sure you are being careful out on, even when you're walking. Yeah, you saw that guy walking, or it could have been a woman, I'm not going to lie, person, we'll say, walking their dog this morning. Definitely want to be careful if you are going to head out at all. So let's send it right over to meteorologist Nick Maruziak. And Nick, is it going to warm up at all and to get this stuff off of our roads?
Yeah, I think it's going to warm up today and tomorrow. I'm just curious, did you figure out the gender of the dog too? Like, no. You're trying to... Is that where we stop?
That's where we stop.
That's where we draw the line on a morning show.
I was like, here I am making assumptions.
Yeah, that person walking with the dog of male, female, can't really, I don't know. Part of it is the wind chill this morning around 0 degrees. We're looking at temperatures in the teens. 10 in Bellefontaine, that's been a cold spot. 14 in Wapakoneta, and then you look at Springfield at 12. 13 still in Springfield. Let's take a wide view. Look at the cold air right now in North Dakota, Minneapolis. That's single digits above and below 0. That cold air, the really cold air, at least compared to average, has shifted east. We will get into this, which is the warmer air. That is later on, and that's when we'll finally begin to melt some of the snow outside. As for the traffic, the snow continues to melt, albeit slowly. Again, exit ramps and side roads, your biggest concerns for this morning.
We're learning more this morning about the amazing discovery of 5-month-old Kason Thomas, found just last week in Indianapolis. He had been sitting alone in a car for days before 2 Indiana police officers saved him. Richard Essex has their story.
The baby had been sitting in the back seat of a car that was parked in this spot for almost 3 days. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people driving by.
I was surprised at how well he responded, considering the ordeal that he had been through.
IMPD officers Richard L. and Sean Anderson spent all day Thursday looking for a stolen black 2010 Honda Accord that was driven by Nyla Jackson. Police believe that 5-month-old Kason Thomas was in the back seat of that car. Investigators say that Jackson stole the car in Columbus, Ohio on Monday, when the owner left the car running and went inside to a pizza place with her 5-month-old twin boys in the back seat. Late Thursday afternoon, after spending all day looking for that car, officers L. and Anderson stopped to eat at a shopping plaza near 10th and University Boulevard.
And kind of brainstorm and just talk about the events of the day and where is baby Kason? Where is he? You know, that this is what's in our head. And as a parent myself, it would drive me crazy not knowing where my child is at, if they're safe, if they're okay, if they're alive. So, you know, as parents, we understand that. And it was time for us to kind of decompress because we were disappointed that we could not find him. And then God opened up the heavens to us and almost took him and put him right in our hands.
The car they had been looking for was sitting right in front of Papa John's Pizza, right across the parking lot from where they had stopped to eat.
Basically, it happened. Totally unexpected. It happened, and we located him.
Jason Van Hort works for Papa John's and had noticed the car sitting in front of the store for a couple of days. He told me he parked his own car next to it, but he says abandoned cars are fairly common in the area, and he didn't think twice about it. But then the cops showed up and surrounded the car.
Fortunately, found a baby in the car that was just kind of sitting there for a few days. So, thank God. Thank God she was okay.
He says that Jackson had come into the store and asked about a job.
She came in Tuesday morning, probably around 8 o'clock, and was just asking about bus passes and asking if we were hiring, and just really didn't think too much about it. I was here for about 20 minutes and left, and just walked right past the car and didn't see her again.
Police arrested Jackson Thursday afternoon, but she didn't offer much information on the boy's location. Police found the little boy just as the weather was starting to get nasty. He had been alone for more than 2 days with nothing to eat or drink.
Having 23 years in law enforcement, these are the moments that I live for, and I'm sure other officers live for as well. This is my why. This is why I get out of bed every morning and put this uniform on.
Jackson is expected to face charges in Ohio and federal charges for taking the 5-month-old boy across state lines.
That was Richard Essex reporting. Now, Kayson's twin brother was previously found unharmed at Dayton International Airport. And we want to give you a look this morning at this tweet. A Cincinnati News photographer is currently missing. This is Deontay Brown. He works at WLWT. He disappeared in a white unmarked Ford Escape, which is one of their news vehicles, on Christmas Eve. It happened just after 7 o'clock. Now, if you know anything, you're urged to call police.
All three happened in the middle of the night on Christmas Day, causing power outages. Nothing was stolen from either or any of those facilities, so there's a good possibility they are related.
Now, more than 14,000 people left in the dark in Washington state on Christmas after police say burglars vandalized 3 power stations belonging to the Tacoma Public Utilities. Investigators say burglars broke through a fenced-in area on Sunday morning and damaged equipment, triggering those outages. Burglars broke into 2 other substations as well. No one is in custody so far, and it's unclear if all 3 of those break-ins are related. Well, China's foreign minister is signaling a growing cooperation with Russia. This after a series of joint naval drills between the countries. Now, Foreign Minister Wang Yi spoke yesterday about deepening that mutual trust. He maintains China is impartial when it comes to the Ukraine crisis, but accused the U.S. of, quote, unilateral bullying, seeing China as a competitor rather than a partner. He says China wants to get relations back on course. Our time right now is 6:40 this morning. Don't forget, of course, your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen and your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials. The major storm hitting most of the country, dumping several feet of snow on Buffalo. Coming up, how this caused one family's unforgettable Christmas. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Welcome to the Watson's Weather Patio, where this morning it is still quite cold outside. I will say I've probably been out here a minute or two, and that's about all I'd want to be out here without a hat and gloves and scarves and things of that nature. But, you know, alas, it's one of those mornings where if you're just running to, let's say, the end of the driveway to pick up the newspaper, if you're just letting the dog outside, sticking your head outside, I think it's okay. But yes, it does feel quite cold this morning, cold enough that it feels like the single digits. Now, I'm going to point out, you notice the radar, we did see the blues moving through. Not a lot has hit the ground here in Dayton. In fact, over the last hour or so, I don't see any snow on the ground. So it's one of those mornings where it is cold outside, but at least at this point, we've held off on any measurable snow and any snow, at least that I can see, even in the air. We'll continue to keep track of that snow potential this morning and talk about the rest of your day, including finally getting above the freezing mark tomorrow. That's coming up in just a bit.
There's a well-known saying in the veterinary field: don't let the sun set on a pyometra. Pyometra is the scientific word for pus in the uterus, and it is a life-threatening, often surgical emergency that occurs in unspayed female dogs and cats. It generally occurs 2 to 8 weeks after their last heat cycle or estrus. Repeated heat cycles without pregnancy promote changes to the uterus that predispose female dogs to this infection. Clinical signs vary depending on whether or not the cervix is open or closed and can include discharge, vomiting, lethargy, and inappetence. The treatment of choice for a pyometra is an ovarohysterectomy to remove the animal's infected uterus and ovaries. The good news is that a pyometra is completely avoidable if your female dog is spayed, and prevention of this life-threatening disease is one of the most common reasons veterinarians recommend spaying all female dogs. Connect with us at our station website by looking up For Pet's Sake. We'd also love to see your favorite pet moments that you can share with our community. Go to our news app, click Explore, chime in, and upload your pet-tastic photos.
Our time right now, 6:45, just days away from the Peach Bowl. Woo-hoo! Just ahead, the Bucks touchdown in Atlanta as they prepare for the college football playoff. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Good morning. We're still tracking the potential for some light snow this morning. Probably more flurries if we're being fair, but there is at least the chance that one or two spots specifically where you do see those deeper, darker blues, that's probably a decent snowfall and enough to get to the ground and actually measure up. Greenville, Eaton, Oxford, Hamilton area, you are just about to see what I would say is probably more flurries and every once in a while light snow. This will probably get into the central part of our area, the actual valley, as we get, let's say, 6, 7 in the morning up until 10 before it exits stage right. Out the door today, temperatures low to mid 20s. It's not awful, but I wouldn't call it good. I would just say it's okay-ish. Tonight, 15 degrees as we remain mostly cloudy. Still going to be quite cold outside overnight tonight. And then for tomorrow, temperatures low 30s and a more mostly cloudy day with every once in a while the potential for a peak of blue sky. As for the 7-day, the big storyline is the warm up. Wednesday and Thursday will push past the average, which, by the way, upper 30s and 20s. So we're actually below our average low temperature for the high today, and then tomorrow will be about around average during the morning, except not there during the evening. Excuse me, that's Wednesday morning. We'll be almost bang on average. And then for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's warming up to the 50s plus. Yay! And on top of it, though, we'll be looking at wet weather. That'll continue even in through the new year. So the weekend does look warm, but wet. As for this morning, it's still at least snow covered, but we're not dealing with as many issues as we were Thursday, Friday, Saturday. This is the rain and snow started to move in. Still, there's going to be some icy spots out there, especially those side streets, so consider that in mind. We're just looking at a couple of roadways this morning. Looking pretty good at 70, 75, but again, exit ramps are going to be more of an issue this morning.
Well, Buffalo, of course, used to winter weather, but the storm on Friday was far from normal. One lucky family spent the weekend with firefighters, and it's a Christmas they will never forget. Check it out. Fighting blizzard conditions, a family of 6 lost power in their home, so they decided to head to a hotel for the night. However, they got stranded on the dangerous roads, and members of the Buffalo Airport firefighters came to their rescue. A family with kids ranging from 8 years old to actually 9 months old spent Christmas Eve and Christmas Day at the firehouse. Santa, of course, still managed to find the family even though they weren't at home. The firefighters quickly improvised, wrapping up some presents for the family to enjoy as well. And major winter storms not just impacting the Midwest, but the East Coast. But check out this video from the Gulf. This is footage from Dolphin Island. And in fact, you can see, hang on, here it is coming up. And icicles. Yeah. In Alabama, off of a beach deck. Forecasters say about 60% of the U.S. population was exposed to some sort of winter weather advisory or warning over the weekend. And the Ohio State Buckeyes have arrived in Atlanta. The Peach Bowl is this coming Saturday as the Bucks prepare for Georgia. OSU boarding a plane yesterday and flying south for the college football playoff. The number 4 Bucks will take on the top-seeded Bulldogs Saturday at 8 o'clock. Ryan Day is expected to meet with the media today. This is Ohio State's 5th trip to the playoffs.
I got nothing.
I'm a huge Buckeye fan.
I'm well aware.
I'm not necessarily looking forward to the game.
You're not optimistic?
I'm not.
Yeah, see, I'm a Mississippi.
Alex, meanwhile, our producer, let's go.
Yeah, see, I'm a Mississippi State fan, Notre Dame fan. I went to Mississippi State. Notre Dame was my team growing up in New Jersey. That's a complicated story. So, needless to say, I'm never going in confident, and anytime my confidence is high,
I thought you were about to be like, oh, I'm never a Buckeye fan, because once you said Notre Dame, I was like, ew.
No. I mean,
I'm not a Notre Dame fan. I don't know. I don't like them.
Yeah, I get it. Like,
I'm a
Notre Dame fan, and even I don't like them.
Well, I didn't like Brian Kelly for the longest time. I'm not going to lie. I still don't like him.
Yeah, neither do I.
However, LSU was halfway decent this year, so I'm just going to throw that out there.
I went to Mississippi State. I hate on LSU for two reasons.
Yeah, got you. Makes total sense. Okay,
yeah,
got
exactly.
it.
Like Mississippi State, woo.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just not optimistic. I don't know. It makes me nervous.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's why they play the games. You never know.
Amen to that. 653. There we go. Honoring a loved one and saving a life. Coming up at 7 on Fox 45, Barbara Morse looks at some special siblings giving blood during an important time. Topping this morning's Dayton Business Journal headlines, a new home development is coming to Washington Township. There will be 22 new homes dubbed Paragon Farms and will be close to the Centerville City School District and include floor plans between 1,800 square feet and 3,800 square feet. Each site will be on around a half an acre with wooded views. Units, though, are already up for pre-sale, starting at $400,000 all the way up to $550,000. To read more about this story and others like it, head on over to Dayton247now.com. Click on the news tab and select Dayton Business Journal. Now we want to give you a live look this morning from our Dayton 24/7 Now weather vehicle, where the major highways are clear this morning. However, taking a look at those residential streets, which just looks like this might be the Oakwood Kettering area. I might be wrong on that, but this looks like it. And obviously those residential streets are still snow covered and ice covered this morning. So if you have to head out, and even if you're walking, you need to be very careful because there is going to be some slick and icy conditions underneath all of that snow. Again, the main highways are good. Those side streets, though, not looking so good this morning. So definitely take an extra moment or two if you have to head out. Well, AAA estimates about 4.6 million Ohioans are traveling between now and January 2nd. That's more than double the estimate for Thanksgiving. That, of course, puts us close to the pre-pandemic record, which was set back in 2019. AAA expects the week between Christmas and New Year's to be the second busiest travel weekend of the year for Ohioans and the third busiest nationally. Air travel is expected to surpass pre-pandemic numbers if people can get flights. So you're taking a live look this morning at the Dayton International Airport flight schedule for today. You can see it is busy as people scramble to get back in the air after that terrible weather upended holiday travel. More than 12,000 flights between Wednesday and Saturday were canceled. That's about 14% of the total schedule. Thousands more were delayed. Now many flights are booked solid as people, of course, reschedule. And a look at givingblood.org. We continue to face critical shortages of blood nationally, with those numbers dipping even lower around the holidays. Now, one family, a special family, is doing their part to honor their dad. Medical reporter Barbara Morse shares their story.
He is the definition of a dad.
Jillian Cartwright is talking about her dad, Gary. Best dad, she'll tell you. Big blood donor.
I remember one of the first times I was able to donate, we went to the blood bus.
If he could do it, we can do it. He has donated 166 times.
Did the math. You can donate every 8 weeks. It'll take me 25 and a half years.
That's a lot of lives saved.
498, so he saved about 500 lives.
Sadly, at 61, Gary was diagnosed with cancer.
We found out about it May of this year.
2 months later, on July 22nd, he lost that battle.
We thought we had more time with him.
One thing lives on through his children, his passion for helping others. All of them continue to honor their dad by donating.
That's what he would want us to do.
Now you're going to